Throughout this presentation, the implementation of Queensland Ambulance Service Major Incident Management Response Procedure will be discussed using evidence-based practice. It will use the given scenario below as a reference to provide an overview of how the management plan is implemented in practice in the form of a mass casualty scenario. As the first paramedic crew begin to approach the scene, the first and foremost thing they should consider is the safety of themselves, the scene, and any survivors of the incident. Wearing the appropriate PPE and identifying potential hazards that will create more casualties is essential to prevent this situation from becoming significantly worse and depleting the already limited resources that are available. This initial crew should also begin to adopt the roles of forward commander and triage officer, establishing a system of command and control to ensure the scene is managed as efficiently as possible. The forward commander takes on the duty of providing the communications center with the necessary gathered information to manage resources and prepare facilities for a surge. This process is initiated through a rapid assessment of the scene, providing an initial situation report of what the paramedics can see from the inside of their vehicle, confirming or denying a major incident and the need for additional resources. A more detailed report is issued as the crew enter the scene and gather more information using the universal acronym METHANE. METHANE standing for Major Incident, Exact Location, Type of Incident, Hazards, Access and Egress, Number of Casualties, and Emergency Services. In this scenario, the METHANE would be Major incident confirmed at the Oasis High Care Nursing Home on Smith Street. A fire has broken out on the southeast wing of the facility. There are fixed gas bottles on the exterior of the building with the potential to explode, and lots of smoke causing concerns for inhalation burns. It's best to access the scene from the west entrance on Scenic Court. There are approximately 75 patients, requesting fire, police, and additional resources. At this point, the forward commander should be identifying a safe location away from the incident to set up a casualty clearing point. This is a dedicated point to evacuate patients to be further assessed and treated during secondary triage. In this scenario, the open parklands behind the nursing home provides a great area safe enough to set up a casualty clearing point from the fire. The forward commander also bears the responsibility of liaising with other commanders from other emergency services that are on scene. This allows for team direction down the chain of command in each service and enables coordinated operation across the board of multi-agencies to aid in a successful emergency response. The forward commander is also responsible for delegating further roles to paramedic crews as they arrive and liaising with his officers to provide the communication center with frequent updates. During this time, the triage officer is responsible for sieving through the patients and performing a primary triage. The primary triage provides a quick overview of the patient's condition at the point in time based on their ability to move and the basic vital signs compatible with life. It categorizes them into priority groups based on the urgency of required transportation, with priority 1 being immediate, priority 2 urgent, priority 3 delayed, and priority 4 deceased. Treatment during this process is minimal, only requiring basic skills to stabilize the patients for extrication to the casualty collecting point. As resources become available, a triage team will be assembled to run a sweep of the scene to ensure no casualty has been missed without triage. These priorities can change as patients deteriorate and therefore requires a team to constantly sieve until the patients are transported to the casualty collecting point for secondary triage. The secondary triage is a more detailed assessment of the patient's condition, sorting the patient into a more definitive priority and providing the necessary treatment to stabilize the patient for transportation. This process generally occurs as more crews arrive to scene, along with further delegation of other roles like treatment, marshalling, and transport officers, ensuring effective scene management. The treatment officer is responsible for allocating the necessary supplies to provide the basic treatment needed for transportation. The treatment officer is also required to take note of any patient deterioration, improvement, and/or priority changes, and liaise with the transport officer, the exact number of categorized priorities, and any changes to those numbers. The transport officer is in charge of designating hospitals based on patient needs and resource availability, taking note of which patient goes to which hospital. The The marshalling officer directs transporting crews to the casualty clearing point as required and liaises with the transport officer to arrange patient transport to the appropriate facilities. The marshalling officer also liaises with the treatment officer at the end of the incident to collect all the equipment and return it to the appropriate vehicles. The biggest cause of disorganized and uncoordinated scenes in a major incident response is the lack of clear and concise communication. Adopting these basic principles of command and control provides a structured approach to scene management and effective communication, allowing for a successful emergency response.